recording. So I would like to thank very much LaGuardia alum Anthony Ruiz. And Anthony, could you tell us a little bit about what you did at LaGuardia, how long you've been gone, what you're up to now?
Yeah, so I started at LaGuardia as a theater major, and I think a couple of semesters in, I switched over to creative writing. I was focusing more on creative writing, and I've been out now for about a year, almost a year and a half. I graduated in 2019, and I'm still writing. I'm an English major at City College. I think I'm a journalism minor too. It's all very confusing, but I know for a fact that everything I've been doing so far has been geared towards creative writing. And in such a short amount of time, I've met with great professors. I've already had great opportunities given to me there, and I've made great connections. So yeah, City, it was between City and Queens, and I'm really glad I chose City.
Great. I'm so glad to hear that you found that program. And you're a poet. You consider yourself a prose fiction writer as well. I know you said you were doing a fiction workshop, or do you find yourself kind of going to multiple genres, or where are you comfortable?
I'm extremely comfortable in poetry. So I think taking these prose workshop classes, fictional writing workshop classes, I've written short stories, of course, and I would love to branch out and write more. But I'm definitely a poet right here. So yeah.
Well, and I've asked you to share a poem or more with us. So whatever you would like to share, we would be very happy to have it and feature it on our site for the National Day of Writing.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll read a piece called 20. Okay. 1. Bloody knuckles hang nails. 2. Don't touch the handrails. 3. 6 feet under or away. 4. Death toll rise by day. 5. Anxious pick at scalp and lip. 6. Stay inside, don't get sick. 7. Isolation, deprivation. 8. Global devastation. 9. Hazmat suit, don't come close. 10. ICU, comatose. 11. Hospital, out of beds. 12. Makeshift morgue, house the dead. 13. Say goodbye, but don't kiss. 14. Lose your dad to this. 15. Second coming, end of days. 16. Rosary, thumb and pray. 17. Ghost town, life macabre. 18. Orphans cry and widows sob. 19. The CDC demands you count to 20 when you wash your hands. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
That was, shall we say, timely. Wow, that was very, very powerful.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to share anything else with us, too?
I'd love to. I have another piece I wrote actually last semester in a great poetry workshop class. So this is called Damp. We were reckless before they stopped stamping X's on the back of our hands. See, Denise had plans. If you asked a star, she would say, on the TV and on Broadway, her adobe colored skin shone sticky with youth. Though wet July, how hours would fly, spitting dreams into your sky. On our backs we lied, spelled out words with the stars, found her name in them too. Constellations misnamed them, staked claim on them too, because it was all our turf. Osiris, they were infinite, a barrage of yearnings intimate, spoken into non-existence. I thought that we were stronger than this, unstoppable, lying there filthy with day. When she said she'd be a star like the ones we'd examined, I believed what she'd say, that one day, that one of us, that one dream might be. Please, this isn't a critique. Maybe you never really wanted it, the life conjured there in Rainy Park. Please, this isn't a critique, and say hi to the kids. Tell them to dream like you once did. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Thank
And
you.
wow, you perform them so well too. It's just wow. Thank you so much.
Of course.
What inspires you to write?
Oh, it really it varies. I find that I write a lot when I'm not well, and that's sort of where I get the juiciest and really am able to like tap into my soul. Um, yeah, but it's hard because sometimes I'm not always inclined to write, and I really do feel like I need to get this sort of a bolt of inspiration. And once I do, there are moments where like it's flowing out of me, and then weeks or months where like I have nothing.
Yeah, I feel you there.
You know it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you find in terms of, so the ones you shared with us, one's very much clearly in response to the pandemic, 20 was in response to that, and Damp is really kind of, based obviously in memory and personal experience. Where do you find you mine things the most for content, or is that kind of all over the place for you as well?
I feel like it's all over. When I started so I've been writing since I was like in fourth grade, but after high school, I got really back into it again. And at that point, I'd come out of the closet. So a lot of my early writing for maybe the past decade has been centered around LGBTQ plus issues. And that's been a lot of what I write about. Yeah, and I'm finding ways. So I've written a lot of poetry about it, a lot of short stories, and I'm currently doing an oral history project, and I'm interviewing people from the West Village, and so sort of LGBTQ always comes back into my writing. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Well, I'm also wondering then too, who do you find are your favorite poets that you draw from, either in terms of content or in terms of form
Mhm.
and structure, who really speaks to you?
Sure. I'm one of those bad writers that doesn't read as much as I probably should. So I'm going to start with Shel Silverstein. Shel Silverstein was one of the first poets that I ever read. I'm sure maybe a lot of people can relate. And I always found that his work was geared towards children, but there was always a lesson in it, always some sort of a lesson. No matter what age you are, you can get something from it. And so I definitely, I think that's why it's difficult for me to write, because if I don't feel like I have anything to say, then I can't write. But if there's something behind what I'm going to say, then I think that's where the inspiration comes. So he's one who's definitely uh, sort of inspired me. And then there's a spoken word poet named Catalina Ferro. Catalina with a C and then Ferro.
Mhm.
And she is just an incredible spoken word poet. I mean, when she gets onto the stage, like literally the entire room just gets super quiet, and you can hear like grunts and noises in the back from people just feeling her. And so I think when it comes to spoken word, she's someone that I definitely draw inspiration from, because I think as a poet, what I like, for me personally, I want people to feel when I get up there. So you know, I write for myself, but like I want you to get goosebumps or to walk away with something, remember me, not because it was me, but because I said something powerful.
Well, and I think this leads to my next question a little bit then. How does writing keep you connected? Is it that kind of feeling that you get with someone who receives your poetry, or what do you think for you?
Um, yeah, I think so. I think a big what I love is the response from people, because it puts me sort of in a common ground with someone. And so even if you can't relate to me writing about HIV or something super taboo to you that to me has been in my community, I think spoken word gives you like a way to deliver it. And so that's sort of, people might not relate to your words, but they can relate to your passion. And so I feel like that's definitely what drives me to keep writing. And anytime I'm writing a poem, I'm writing it with the intention of speaking it and reciting it. So there's melody and there's rhythm, and that's sort of, by the end of the poem, it's almost like a song for me.
That's really great, because I think sometimes people think of poetry so much as only existing on the page. And
Right.
I think that sometimes folks forget when they're reading, or even folks who are trying to write poetry, that so much of it is in the speaking of it, very often too. So, well, thank you so much for sharing your work with us. Any last words of wisdom or advice for our writers at LaGuardia?
Keep going. I tell everyone, sit in the front, sit right in the front. I don't care what you think about it. If you look nerdy, if you look geeky, it does not matter. Just ask questions. There's no stupid question. And LaGuardia, seriously, I think it really helped me grow into my writing. And so whatever you're doing there, just put your all into it. You can't go wrong.
Cool. And as a professor, I would like to echo that people should sit in the front. It's important.
It's great. There's nowhere else to sit.
I know, right? Well, thank you so much again for
Thank
sharing your
you.
poetry with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm